everyone. We're very excited to have another podcast with the Godfather We're very excited because today we have a very special guest, one of our exclusive VIP founding members, and we're going to be talking to this great individual, great special guest about her company, the market that she focuses on, and we're going to be learning a lot from this individual. So let me bring her right onto the stage and let's not delay. So here with us, we have Yesenia Andablo. So Yesenia, welcome, welcome. It's awesome to have you in our podcast.
Thank you.
Tell
Thank
me a
you,
little bit
Pablo.
about yourself. Fantastic. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Okay, can you
yes,
hear me?
yes.
Awesome, great. We're very happy to have you, Yesenia, and happy to have you not only as a special guest here in our podcast, but also as one of our VIP founding members with the GodfatherNetwork.com. So we're very excited to have you here today in our podcast. And to begin, we want to talk a little bit about who Yesenia Andablo is. If you could share a little bit about yourself on a professional level.
I am a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend, and a lover. I love to socialize. I love to love people, and I love to love life. I appreciate the small things, but I have three big loves, and that's God, my family, and music.
Wow, that is awesome. Great, awesome. And Yesenia, one of the things that we want to do is we want to talk a little bit about the company that you created. Tell us a little bit about the name of the company that you created, and then we want to talk a little bit about that mission and vision and what is your main focus with your company.
Absolutely. Well, yes to speaking. The name came because I wanted people to be optimistic about learning a language. As we'll talk in a bit, you'll see that we teach Spanish and English. And the name came because we wanted people to say yes to learning when with many other programs, many other schools, many other classes, they have felt that that's the piece that they're missing, that they can't speak. They learn through books, theory, but when it comes to speaking it, they fall short. So, yes to speaking, that's why we chose that name. And what we do, our mission is to empower individuals and companies to overcome language barriers in Spanish and English via spoken, via spoken classes, English or Spanish classes, and written translations. We work with certified translations as well. So that's our mission, to empower people through language. And our vision is to be your number one choice, to be the company, the people you think of when you want to learn English or Spanish, and that we can really make a difference in your learning, and that you really come out knowing that you speak a language that empowers you and that really helps you communicate in the most effective, efficient way.
It's interesting, yes, and yeah, that you mentioned that bringing individuals and bringing companies together through a language, through a spoken and also written language. And the reason I say that it's very important because when I was in school, when I was in college, one of the things that they told us is regardless of what field you pursue, regardless of what industry you're in order for you to be successful, they told us there's two key things that you need to have. And the two key things that you mentioned is having to be able to effectively communicate with others, communicate, share your ideas, and also to be able to effectively write in that particular language. And I know your company focuses on two main languages, correct?
Correct. Spanish and English.
Spanish and English. Now, let's talk a little bit about the way that you teach these classes, because we know that there's different people that learn in different environments. So, what's the main market that you target for your classes and your business, and how you go about teaching these people, these individuals?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Pablo, interesting enough, we do have all sorts of backgrounds and individuals in our classes. We tend to sometimes see a little more entrepreneurs, especially recent immigrants who are trying to learn English so they can, step into other markets, uh, resources that are only in English. They can definitely benefit more from those, and pretty much to be in those conversations when it comes to business and resources, especially when Houston has a big opportunities when it comes to, as you might know, to be certified with the port, with the city. Etc. Right, with many organizations. So they want to learn language, they want to do business in English as well. They want to open up to that market, and so we see a lot of entrepreneurs. However, we do see a lot also. We've been seeing stay-at-home moms that they want to learn the language. They want to be active and involved with their children's education. So that's something that we are seeing for sure, for them to become more of a present, in their child's life here in the United States as recent immigrants. When it comes to Spanish, we have completely different markets. I mean, talking about learning Spanish or English, different markets, different people. With Spanish, you see, we have a student who, well, we have a couple, but one recent student I actually had a class with her today. She's learning Spanish to be able to communicate with her in-laws because she married into a Hispanic family. And we have others that, they just want to be able to help their patients. I have a PA who wants to communicate and help her patients at the hospital. So, we have different sorts of people that, for whatever reason, sometimes it's needed for work. Sometimes it's, I just want to have that, especially in Houston, because we have a huge Hispanic community, and they're like, I have to speak Spanish. I have to be in the know, right? Um, that's that. And then companies, funny, interesting enough, companies hire us more for English than for Spanish. They really want their employees or staff to be bilingual, to speak English. They want them to go up, to be promoted. They want them to have better customer service, to be able to communicate within management, within the company, have a better workflow for communication. So we do definitely see a lot of reasons why companies want their staff to be bilingual, and individuals why they want to be bilingual as well.
Wow, it's interesting that you mentioned a diverse group of people, a market, because for your English classes, you have a certain group of people that you cater to, and then for Spanish, you have another group of people. And now the other thing is that you mentioned is you also cater to the moms, stay-at-home moms that want to learn the language so they could be involved in their kids' education, because it's very important for us to be able to understand what the kids bring to school. I mean, bring from school. Now, my question is, because you did mention entrepreneurs, stay-at-home moms, you did mention companies. What is the format? What is the teaching format for some of these individuals that you offer?
Totally missed that part of your question. You did ask me that. So we really just focus on private classes. We don't really offer group classes unless, like I said, a company hires us, an organization, for example, a community center who might hire us and open it up to the community, or a company who wants us to teach their staff. But privately, mainly, we work with where the student is. We work where he or she is at. We don't use books. We don't do generic classes. We teach the English or the Spanish that our students are going to need. We definitely take every hour and every minute to work on his or her challenges. Our classes are meant to work on those challenges and deficits. Some people come to us from very beginner. Some people come to us with very good level, but they need maybe a little bit of polishing in their pronunciation, or they just kind of want to be more culturally aware and they still don't get the idioms very well. They want to know that cultural side of things. or some of them say, I speak very well English or Spanish, but I really need to get into writing because I need to start doing, more writing at work or for what I'm doing for whatever purpose, right, that they're learning the language for. So the way we work is, and since everything's private, everything's very flexible. I mean, every student gets to choose what days they want to meet and what times. You want mornings, you get mornings. You want evenings, evenings. We want weekends, you get weekends too. So we definitely do have seen that private classes work for students, and they not only work because they're easy to get to acquire because our prices are phenomenal. But they work because we make them work for the student and we work around what their activities are, not only time wise, schedule wise, but we work around what they're really needing the language for. We ask, where are you going to use this? Well, I'm going to use it for family. Well, let's focus on conversations about family. I'm going to use it for work. Okay, what kind of work conversations do you have? What type of people do you manage? So, like I said, it's a very personalized curriculum, very personalized classes that really make our classes be very effective.
That's one interesting thing that you mentioned, and I love that because there's a lot of schools out there. There's a lot of training academies. There's a lot of language schools, if you will, that are out there. But one of the things that I love that you mentioned, and this was one of my follow up questions, which you already alluded to that answer that I'm going to ask you is, the next question I was going to ask you is, what is that value proposition of your company? And one of the things that you mentioned, and I'm going to allow you to expand on this. One of the things that you mentioned is that the classes are not generic classes. It's not a one class fit everyone. It's very personalized, which I love, because what happens is you're catering to that individual. You're catering to that individual's needs. If it's, because like you mentioned, there is various forms of communication. We're going to be communicating differently if we're in a corporate environment, or if we're talking to friends and family, or if we're talking to a teacher at a school meeting, or what have you. So having said that, and I think I alluded to that answer to my question, if you can expand on that value proposition, because I know that just like any market, there are various institutions, academies, and schools that offer something similar to what you're offering. But I do hear that there is something very unique, and that is your value proposition. So if you could expand a little bit more on your value proposition, and keep this in mind, because I know whenever I hear private, when I hear customized, I'm thinking it's going to be a high price ticket item. And you also alluded to something that it's private, but yet convenient. It's not going to break your purse. It's not going to break your pocket. So expand on that concept for me.
Absolutely. So we have been able to partner up with wonderful teachers in Latin America that are really the backbone of Yes to Speaking virtual classes. So we offer the virtual option privately. That's our most popular option. I mean, we're talking about prices starting at $25 an hour for a private virtual class with an instructor, private, of $25 an hour, because we were able to partner up, like I said, with great instructors who some maybe lived in the United States, but maybe went back to Latin America. Or have lived there for Spanish, for example, have lived there obviously their whole life, and know the language, and still, but somehow still know part of the culture here in the United States. So we're able to give great prices when it comes to that part of your question. The other thing you mentioned was that the value. When you're a student of ours, you really are Jose. You really are Rosemary. You really are Victor. I mean, and I see you every week, even if you're not my student. And when I say every week, oh look, there's my logo on my phone. I mean, I know what's going on with you. Even though I'm not your main teacher, we keep communication during the week. You're more than just an hour or 2 hours a week for us. We will give you resources to use throughout the week. We will give you techniques, tips, what to do, how to continue expanding your vocabulary outside of class, things to follow, books to buy, maybe a good dictionary, a good illustrated dictionary, uh, videos, uh, see what's going on with you, how you've been implementing Spanish or English. So, like I said, our value is building an environment for you so language really becomes more easily for you, and it's not just oh, I'm having my class and then I don't know anything about, I don't hear from my instructor, I don't hear from the owner, and that's just it. No, we do take care of you, and you are our student until you say, bye, I'm done, I've learned what I need to learn, and we're here for you at all times.
That is, I love that. I love that. When I always ask about the value proposition and what is unique with a lot of these businesses, and the fact that you mentioned that that individual is recognized as an individual, like you said, right? You gave examples of a person's name, because I know sometimes when you go to these bigger institutions, bigger academies, schools, you're only a number. And I remember going to school, going to college. It was a big, large institution, and nobody knew me by my name. They knew me by my social security number. Whatever that number back in New York, it was a number that we were assigned, and everybody just knew us by the last four digits of our social security number, 6074. Are you present? And I love the fact that you mentioned that person. It's an individual basis, because sometimes people are intimidated when they are learning in a bigger environment, especially if they don't know the language. They are, if, when they want to get help with the pronunciation, they're shy, they're intimidated, maybe what other people are going to think about the way I pronounce things. But that is phenomenal that you do have that personalized service. And another key thing that I hear, Yesenia, is that personalized, that communication, that personal touch. Even though you might be virtual, even though you might have people or teachers that are throughout the United States or other countries, you still maintain that connection and that communication with your students. Now, the other interesting thing and I'm just reiterating one of the things that you mentioned, and it's very key for me to do this. You mentioned $25 to begin a class, and let me touch upon this, Yesenia, because a lot of people might think that $25 may be a major investment, but when you take things into perspective, $25, I have this coffee. I'm partially colorblind. I used to say it was black, but it's actually brown. It's a brown logo with a white cup. I'm not gonna say what it is. Okay, that cup of coffee cost me $5 a day. If you multiply that by 5 days, that's $25. So when you mention $25 to begin, of course, that's a beginner's class, and of course, the price will be incremental based on your needs. But when you talk about $25 and getting that personalized service, that is phenomenal. I mean, I'm going to be bold enough to ask you, Yesenia, how is it that you're able to provide those competitive prices in the marketplace and having all of these specialized trainers in your company?
Like I mentioned, we partner up with teachers in Latin America. So we're able to pay them well for them to be happy with us. We have had teachers who have been with us for 3 years or more. We started Yes to Speaking 4 years ago. I mean, no, I'm lying. One of them has been with us since a couple of months since we started. And then, he, he's been with us. He's because he likes how we treat him. He likes how we let him be. We let him be a professor, do what he does. I trust my team so well that I let them do their thing, and they're professionals. And every single student is happy. And we do constantly ask how our class is going. How do you feel? Okay, what can we do to improve? That's something that we really are really good at. And like I said, they get paid really well, but obviously we get good Also, we give good rates because of that, because we're not paying instructors US rates, of course, right? So we're able to really do that. And we're able to do that too because, like I said, when you care and you kind of know and organize yourself to be able to tell people, hey, what I was saying earlier, one of the perks of being a student with us is you get to be in a chat with us. You get a WhatsApp chat with the instructor, myself, and the student. And anytime throughout the week, you'll get maybe things from us. Oh, I saw something. Oh, look. Oh, what are you working on? Well, I'm working on this specific topic. Well, I found something. Let me send it to you. Um, I mean, it's really cool how we make them, and you mentioned how they're sometimes shy. And we create this like comfort zone for them. We create this safe space for them to make mistakes, which is the only way they're going to learn. Okay. And we let them know, hey, you have access to us throughout the week. And ask us anything. How do you say this? Culturally, what does this mean? I'm confused. Can you send me the pronunciation for this? Okay, so that's what I mean. Like, we add that value of being available for you anytime. And like I said, the pricing that is with the package. You do have to buy a package of hours, and the hour comes out to $25. But we see that we don't. I don't need to be rich for the. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in it for free either, but I'm not in this for the money. So, like I said, you mentioned companies that do generic and they sell by the masses. We don't sell by the masses. We sell by how the student continues to be with us, because language learning is a long process. So students have been with us for a year and a half, and they're doing very well. But they stay with us because they know it's an continuing learning thing, and they keep on learning new things. And of course, just like when we're kids, we don't learn a language in 1 year and everything that comes with it, because a language is more than just words. It's a whole culture behind it, and it's a whole set of norms and wait, what does this mean? It's an idiom. Oh, wait, now we're getting into idioms. So it becomes like I said, we really are a family, and our students stay because of great pricing. That we're not here to make a lot of money, I guess. And I probably, my husband, if he heard this, he'd be like, Yesenia, what are you saying? But
It's interesting, and I know what you mean when you say you're not here for the money. You're truly here to impact people's lives, to make a difference. And the other thing is, when people see that value, when people see that personalized training, when people see that they're being treated as individuals, that you truly care, money's secondary. It will come. It will come.
right.
Believe me, it will come, because what happens is the word spreads. People start talking about Yes to Speaking LLC. Yes to Speaking is different. It gives you this added value, and eventually, you may have few hundred students now. Next thing you know, you will have few 100,000 students, and then in the course of running the business, in a couple of years, you're going to have 2 million or 5 million people that have been impacted by Yes to Speaking LLC. Next thing you know, we're going to start seeing billboards throughout Houston, throughout different countries. Yes to
Absolutely.
Speaking LLC. Now,
Absolutely.
this,
And I'm sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you, but
go, go ahead. Go ahead.
but what you're saying is important, because like I said, I mean, I'm not here for the money, but of course, we all have to pay our bills. But I think these last 4 years are teaching us what else we can do for people, that will maybe an app, obviously, a better way to learn, a program that's more efficient than what's out there. Our slogan used to be real life conversations for real life situations, conversaciones reales para situaciones reales, because we realize that a lot of these traditional programs, we're just not teaching what you needed. When I mentioned, earlier, we teach what you're going to be using language for. Why are you learning verbs that you'll never use? Why are you learning vocabulary that you won't use? What you need right now. And that's what we focus on. And yeah, that's the plan, to continue obviously helping people in a better way, more than one student at a time, of course.
That is awesome. One other question that I have, and I think you had mentioned this. Now, once a student comes into your program, they take the classes that they need to take, or whatever class that they need. After the class is finished, it seems that you do continue to have a community. Have you built a community of yes to speaking people or clients that come together? Have you formalized that community where they could connect with one another, connect with former students, connect with current students?
I have not, but you are not the first person to tell me this. I need to build this. I need to build that. I definitely need to create conversation clubs, coffee meetups. And what I was thinking of doing at a point is I wanted to connect my students, those learning Spanish with those learning English, and helping
Wow.
each other through the struggles of language learning. Because even though
That's
they're completely different in their reasons as to why they're learning the language, their struggles are the same. It's a frustration, it's a patience, it's a God, I'm not getting this at the moment. But they also can connect on aha moments, right? And maybe tell each other, hey, well, this is what helps me. This is what helps me. So definitely, I need to work on that. So thank you for that. Again, the reminder.
that is awesome. And when we think about communities, sometimes we think about bringing people together physically, or creating, like you mentioned, a conversation club. And sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the planning, with all the details of bringing those groups together. But I've seen a lot of successful groups in different apps like WhatsApp. I've seen people create very successful exclusive groups where, for example, people that taken a course together, or people that participated in certain seminars, they've come together. And Tony Robbins is key in doing this with all these other top motivational speakers, where they bring you into a Facebook group, and once they go through whatever challenge or seminar, all these people come into that chat, and they're just sharing experiences of what they've done. And sometimes it's as simple as just creating a group, because it's very important to build that community. Because what happens is, a lot of people that I realize, they want to belong to something, they want to be part of something. And can you imagine hundreds and hundreds of people here in the local Houston area, and then expanding throughout the US, and then other countries that would wear their shirt, proud to wear their Yes to Speaking LLC shirt, and say, I am a graduate of the phenomenal training program that they have. So, wow, that's incredible. That
You're
is
giving me a lot of
phenomenal.
ideas here, Pablo.
But you know what? They will come to fruition. And that's one of the other things, because what happens is, it's all a mastermind. It's all about, things that we could do together, things that you could do to your community. And you already have it. You already have built a community of hundreds of students. Now it's just a matter of bringing them together.
Mhm.
But, it's incredible how time flies. We've been here almost 30 minutes. Yesenia, I want you to leave our audience with your last thoughts.
Well, I think language unites us, but not just language by words. I'm talking about body language. I'm talking about um, the words we say that we may not even understand. Okay, so I want you to use those to love someone else. Okay, to love someone else, um, because yes, we're here trying to learn a language, to communicate with the other person, but sometimes what we need is just you know uh, the language that comes from the heart, and that's caring for the other person. That's the first thing I want to say. And second, please definitely check us out. I'm sure Pablo's going to leave here some information. Our website, yes2speaking.com. Yes2speaking.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, where we share a little bit of the classes that we have, little sneak peeks of all the classes that we share, that we do for our students, and we share them on social media. So check us out. Please reach out on our number through WhatsApp. We would be very happy to answer any of your questions. For anyone that wants to learn Spanish, English, or a company that might have questions on maybe how to make their employees or staff more productive, have a better customer service, or maybe have, Juan get promoted instead of bringing John in, because Juan has been in the company for years, but just can't seem to get that English down. So definitely let us know how we can help overcome language barriers, whether that's in the spoken aspect with language classes or in the written aspect with translations, so you can get your message to any market that you wish to.
That is phenomenal. That is great, Yesenia. It's been an honor to have you here in our podcast and learn so much, because I often heard about your programs, but I've never really realized how individualized your classes were. I really, in my mind, I was only thinking, well, it's a general class that you bring in a few people, 25, 50, 100 people into a classroom. But now I realize that it's an individualized program that you cater to individuals. And most importantly, you care about what it is you do. And that is one key thing. I love when people do that, because, they're not just doing it for the money. They're doing it because they're passionate about helping people, making an impact in our community. And you're absolutely right. It's so important to be able to enhance our communication skills.
Mhm.
Even myself, I have an accent coming from New York, Yesenia, that sometimes I say words that people are like, "What are you saying?" Maybe I need to take some of your classes as well.
Well,
But
definitely. That's why we don't have group classes, Pablo, because you're right. I think that we can get only so far when when we have others around us. Sometimes it requires for us to really get down to what we need for ourselves. And definitely, there's a story of why Yes to Speaking started. We didn't get to talk about it, but maybe at another time. But yeah, I was the daughter of immigrants who didn't speak English, and who, because of that, I do what I do. And that is why my mission is to empower families, like my family was in this, empowered to be able to definitely maximize their potential here in the United States. So yeah, definitely, there's a story to that.
Okay, so I thought you were born here in the U.S.
I was born here. My parents came as
Okay.
immigrants, but I was born here. Right.
Okay, so what? Briefly tell us the story, because I mean, I don't want people to just without that. Tell us briefly that story and that challenge with the
That's
language.
totally fine. Well, I mean, my parents, immigrated from Mexico. I was the first. I was the oldest of five. I mean, I've been a translator for my parents since I can remember. It was that first generation. Me, uh, parents came. I had to help them navigate the health system, political system, education system, everything. My parents weren't as involved as I wish they would have been, to definitely, give us, give themselves and us definitely more of an opportunity here in the United States. And definitely depending on their children, as many families do, right? They depend on their children to help them with anything because of the language barrier. So my mission is to empower families, to empower parents, to empower, like I said, individuals to be independent, to be more confident in their abilities, and for them to have better opportunities. Some of them come with many skills and abilities, like my parents did. My parents were able; they had tons of knowledge in many things that they could do. But especially when they came here in the 80s, it was a different world. So not as many opportunities for those that didn't speak English. So anyway, that's my story. Being
Wow.
the oldest of five, carrying a lot of responsibilities that were not mine, and maybe growing up too fast, which is perfect. That's who I am. Why that's why I am who I am today, right? And that's why I do what I do, So kids can be kids, and parents can be empowered and be strong leaders of families.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Yesenia. And there you see the number, Yes to Speaking LLC. The number right there is 281-336-1937. Now, is this your cell phone or this is a landline?
You
Okay,
can call this, you can text this.
awesome.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So don't forget, reach out to Yesenia and let her help you with anything that you have in terms of communication, in terms of language, in terms of how to pronounce things, because sometimes you don't even think about pronunciation. And I can tell you one, I can attest to a lot of stuff, and I appreciate Yesenia because you know what? Whenever there's an error written in any of our communications, she calls us and she tells us, "Hey, you should change this," and I really appreciate that because I really
Thank
take
you.
that to heart. We want to make sure that we present a professional image. So, Yesenia, thank you so much for doing what you do and for empowering our community. So, it's been a pleasure having you here in our podcast, and you're going to hear a lot more stuff from Yesenia. So, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for always tuning in, and we'll see you the next time around.